Wise a guest holds it to take to his heels, when mock of another he makes. But little he knows who laughs at the feast, though he mocks in the midst of his foes.
Hey everybody, it's Jeremy, and welcome back to turn 31 of Aries, where we are playing the Well of Urd, God of Utgard. As you may have seen in the last couple turns, things are looking grim for us, but we got a couple of tricks up our sleeves that we're going to try, probably in the next couple turns, and we'll see how those things go. So, let's take a look at this turn. We have a messenger from Atlantis. I can make some coral blades for you. I can't spare many mage turns, so it will take a couple turns just so you're aware. That's fine. If he can get them to us, great. If not, no big deal. What else? What else? We did a little bit of reanimation and Pale Riders. We have completed Conjuration 4, moving to Conjuration 5. We didn't get any suitable blood slaves, and I also realize I put my Sanguine Dowsing Rod on Bidgo 1, but Sanguine Dowsing Rods only work if you actually have blood to begin with, so he's just over there. He's just over there blood searching with no real ability to do so, if he's successful, great. If not, whatever. We got a couple little battles. Most of these are irrelevant rating. Got a little battle in Debrithia, little battle in Ramire from the forces of Ulm. Forbidden Woods. This is a larger sized one. And then we have Waywoods, where a scout pinged our province defense from Ulm. And then we have a battle in Utgard. So let's actually... What's this one? Oh, this is just a lemur console that's pinging. This conflict, by the way, is stagnated to shit and back. Midgard, absolutely, apparently, I should have just attacked Midgard from the very beginning. Because Lemuria handily beat off Midgard. But then I think then I'd just be in the scenario where I'd be fighting Midgard and Gath would have jumped me from behind anyways. I think, in hindsight, right, Gath was always the person that was going to attack me. Okay, so we have a battle at our fortress in Utgard. Go ahead and watch this. Okay, so he has arrayed his forces as he does normally. We do not have very much to oppose him. We do have like a little tricky trick going on here. That's not going to amount to much. We don't expect it to amount to much, but let's see how it goes down. We're going to go a general overview real quick because we haven't been watching very many battles here lately. So we'll let this all turn out. Got the swarm coming out. Got all the body ethereal and the wooden warriors. Good stuff. As it normally does. And we're probably just going to speed through this. The bears come in, right? They hold the wall there for a while. We're getting some horde of skeletons. And then we get another horde of skeletons, and our buffed up guy, who's not as buffed up as he needs to be, runs in and rats. Oh, shit. I mean, he wasn't gonna do anything anyways, but I was looking forward to him maybe killing one or two things. Now, there is something, so we killed 3 enemies, 1 gibber, that's a win, 1 gibber, and 2 levites. There is actually something in here that is sketch, and it is something, that I'm not, like, this isn't me bitching, but okay, so we've got body ethereal. This isn't me bitching necessarily, but this is me being worried for the future, right? Because I have some particular plans, but those plans hinge on the game working the way that I anticipate it working and the way that I'm used to it working. So watch. So we've got this body ethereal goes down. Great. Now both the Norna and Jarl 4 are ethereal. Wonderful. The gibbers have magic weapons, so that's probably irrelevant, but it's something, right? Okay. Next up, we've got regeneration. Boom. Okay, so Jarl and Norna 4 now both regenerating. Fantastic. Next up, we've got all the swarm landing. Protection. Notice there isn't like a little green field around these two. and their protection has not been raised to a natural 10. I wonder where... Greenfield. What's going on here? Natural protection 10. Natural protection 10. So for whatever fucking reason, right, the Norna has been like, okay, I'm gonna cast on myself and this big-ass giant next to me for body ethereal and for regeneration, but then she decides, nah, this lesser giant and this blood slave, that's who's gonna get the protection. Fuck. Right? So it's this type of stuff. It's the variance in the casting system, right? We already know how that worked out with Panic. But it's the variance in the casting system that could make or break things for us in the future, right? Because if we're trying to do our little secret werewolf in the rear, super buff, blah, 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 blah thing, it's very dependent on the buffs actually hitting the werewolf. God damn it. So, this is potentially a bad scenario for us. But anyways, so the protection goes off, doesn't hit who it's supposed to hit. What's the next one? Luck goes off, and it actually does hit who it's supposed to hit, right? And then Gift of the Hair goes off, right? And it hits this fucking Mound King. Like, just the Mound King, too. Like, not other people and the Mound King. No, just that Mound King needed to be faster. I don't know why, but whatever. So, again, just little annoyances there. It didn't matter in the long run anyways. The Jarl's morale broke before he ever actually got to do anything. You know? Which I don't... Yeah, so he's good up until basically these last two bears die. And then he instantly routes. Which is, I mean, that's fair. The bears were the vast majority of the HP on our side, so I get that. Okay, so that's concerning, right? We're finger crossing for a big fight to do some harm to Utgard, we are Utgard, to Gath and push him back, right? But I keep going back to these situations where it's like the system is just not doing what it's in theory supposed to do, right? Okay, so that's fine though. Doesn't matter. Unexpected event, we got some growth too. Worldwide event, thaumaturgy rituals are cheaper. We're under siege in Defaros. The enemy cannot harm our walls because they have moved off onto the throne. Cool. Okay. Got a couple things going on. We're just gonna do two fronts now because the Utgard front is no longer a front. So we're gonna do the Olmish front and we're gonna do the Defaros front, right? In the Olmish front, he moved off Mighty Pillars. He did not stay to siege Mighty Pillars down. So I don't know if Gath is legit just targeting me. I don't think like there's any intention in Gath's mind to like let Olm survive. But I could be wrong. And if that is the case, WTF? like what the fuck? Why is Olm the let's save Olm? Whatever. It doesn't matter. So what are we doing in the Olmish front? Well, with this army moving out, it is not an especially strong army, but it could come down to Ulm and try to siege us there. It could come over to Copper Woods and try to siege us there, or it could keep going towards Defaros and try to rejoin. I'm not sure. We are going to take action in a couple different ways. We are going to continue to move things into Ulm. Excuse me. We're going to move Goad 1 from Copper Woods down into Ulm. Just because there's no real point in leaving him up there on his own, and he can make it there in one turn. We are actually moving King 1 out with a small force of javelinists to attack in Remire. I'm assuming that Ulm's just not going to be there, or that they're going to move down to Troll Woods. This is basically a free move for us. If we run into Ulm, we should destroy their rangers with that force. If we don't run into Ulm, we take a province back. Probably he might PD dump, but I don't assume that that's what he's gonna do. And regardless of where this army goes, we should be able to make it back into Ulm in time to defend, right? And how are we gonna do that? Well, we're gonna move in. That's how we're gonna do that. But how are we gonna defend? We're gonna try to, again, we're trying to get to the Scrotty. We're definitely gonna get one. Right? Getting the second is less guaranteed. If this army comes straight for Ulm, probably not going to happen. If that is the case, that's going to be pretty unfortunate, but we will see. Right now, that's kind of the plan. So, that is the Ulmish front. Don't really have enough money to do anything else other than try to recruit that Scrotty. This was a very, our income's basically shot now, that we've lost, a good portion of our land. So, what's happening in the Dofaros front? Well, I'm going to ping up here real quick. I'm going to actually attack in Yurk Balkor with one of our scouts, just to see if he actually puts any PD. He has been, but sometimes people forget, so we'll see how that goes. We are actually moving Hearst 2 down into Debrithia, and we are continuing to recruit this Scrotty. Probably not going to have... So here's the other scenario, right? I legitimately considered for a while moving the entirety of this Seath force, but I have to have them researching to hit Conjuration 5. So we're just going to move Hearst 2. Because I think Hearst 2, with the forces that he has, can take Debrithia. Because this is nothing, right? It's Gittite soldiers. Our javelinists are a match for them. The Gittites, I think, are a little bit better than the javelinists, a little bit worse than Gaudy Huskarls, right? So this force should be able to take that force. Province defense is an issue, potentially. And then there's always the scenario of reinforcements from somewhere. Okay? But we're doing this so that we can try to maintain connections between different routes. And so that, another 30 units on a big battlefield is not inconsequential, right? So what are we doing in actual Defaros? Well, we're doing a couple things. We're summoning more Pale Riders, right? We are summoning some Griffins to give us a little bit of an air force. And we're actually breaking siege with a very small contingent of javelinists. And that's just in case he doesn't immediately come back. I expect that he is going to immediately come back, that he's basically going to leave something here to start building a fort or do whatever with this throne, and then he's going to immediately just move this army back on top of Defaros. And if that is the case, then these 5 javelinists and Com 3 are probably dead. Com 3 might escape. But if they don't, I'm assuming this is just a scout or something like that. Seems to be a Naphtali Spearman, so maybe it's just a Naphtali Spearman. So we're just going to do that, and we're going to see what happens and move from there. We're also moving a scout into Land of Plenty to make sure I can keep eyes on the force that just took Utgard. Because if that force immediately moves down into the Land of Plenty, then it means it can reinforce on the following turn, which is when we would have Conjuration 5, and it's when we would potentially be able to do a big battle in Defaros. And while I think maybe Howl will give us the edge in a fight between this army and this army, I don't think it gives us the edge in a fight between his combined forces, which I think is what we're probably going to be looking at in the near future. But we'll see. Regardless, we're going to do what we can. We've got 3 Nornas, and we've got, I think, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 Seaths. And we've got 2 Scrotty for a little turbo communion. And they should survive for a very long time. I haven't really done any testing. And obviously I would prefer to have 4, almost to the point to where, like, if I had a 4th here, I might actually, like, strip Gunloth and put all of those items on, like, a Jarl and be like, yo, look, you can be my weird rear fighter while I have a better turbo communion. But we don't, so that's not gonna happen. So, we're gonna hit Conjuration 5 this turn. That's gonna give us, as I said, it's gonna give us Howl, right? We don't really get anything else important out of this. We do get air elementals, which might be a thing. I might... when the big battle comes, I might have Air Force... Obviously, Air Force One's main thing is going to be flying Gunloth, but then he might switch over to just dumping all of the rest of my air gems into actual air elementals. So we'll see. What else? I think that's honestly it. There's not a lot that I can do. So this is kind of what we're doing. We have to be very strict with our research because we have to hit Conjuration 5 in order to have a chance, right, for Howl to make a difference. I don't think it's gonna, but we're gonna see, right? Howl with a little turbo communion and some tricky flyer stuff. Maybe that'll make the difference. So, okay, on to messages. Text message 2. We're going to send a message to Atlantis. Basically just responding about everything. No worries, just whenever you can. Things are looking pretty bleak for me at this point, so don't engage Gath unless you think it's prudent. He will need to be dealt with, though, because he's taking my lands and the Ulmish lands, which I had conquered. I'll continue to stall, but good luck. So just apprising Atlantis of the situation. And then I'm actually going to send out messages to Vadihheim, and to Erythia, and probably to Lemuria. Lemuria is dicey because Lemuria might just decide to attack me in Ulm. But at this point I don't think it necessarily matters. So I'm going to send them all the same message. Gath has taken my capital and now advances on the Ulmish capital, which I had previously taken. This is not a cry for help, but rather a warning. If something is not done about Gath, they will likely run away with the game. Good luck in the game. So, I'm going to send that to Vadihheim. I'm going to send that to Lemuria. I'm going to send that to Erythia. Was there anybody else? No, definitely not Ulm. I'm definitely not sending it to Midgard, because Midgard's literally just going to turn on me. Well, I say that, but I don't know that Midgard turning on me matters, right? So, sure, fine, whatever. I'll just send that out to everybody, except for Ulm and Gath, obviously, right? And Atlantis. Atlantis basically gets a different version of the message. So we'll see how that goes. Again, right, I am going to play every turn, and I'm going to do my best to shove Gath off and try to not just try to, like, hurt him or make it worse. My eyes are still going to be on reconquering my lands and winning. It's just, at this point, it's probably unrealistic. So I'm going to do as much as I can, and we'll see how it goes. But at this point, I'm basically alerting the world, hey, look, it's looks bad. So, ruh-roh. Okay, so that is it. Last message I'm going to send out to everyone, as I always do, but I'm gonna be a little cheeky this turn, and I'm gonna try to be predictive. Rather than reactive, I'm gonna try to be predictive, and I'm gonna say the well appears, cause it's gonna be turn 32 next turn, and that's probably a little early, but I'm gonna cross my fingers and I'm gonna tap into prophecy there a little bit, and I'm gonna call that the well appears next turn. We'll see if that actually happens. Okay, so that should be it, and I will see you all next time. Next turn, right, the placement of Gath's armies are really going to change what exactly happens next turn, right? If he brings this big army back and he doesn't have the army here, right? Then I'm probably going to try to pop. If he does have the army here, I might still try to pop, even though it's likely that he's going to reinforce. Just because I don't know that there's much else I can do, and I would rather, again, this is kind of like the call in Utgard. It might not be the right call, but I need to do something. In the long run, he's definitely going to win versus what I have right now. So the chance of me catching him with a new trick is probably the best chance that I'm going to have. If I don't have access to this army or what have you, then we're probably going to blitz into some weird research goals, and we're probably just going to start dumping our gems. Like mass alchemy and dumping into nature and death. And we'll see how it goes. Alright, so that is going to be the turn for me. I will see you all next time. Peace.